When is it time to part out a Mercedes-Benz? This is a topic that I get very passionate about. It irritates the crap out of me sometimes what I see in wrecking yards, and also I know on eBay there are a lot of guys who are selling Mercedes parts, specifically classic Mercedes parts, as a dedicated source of revenue. And so there are two people that I want to focus on here. One is responsibly parting out Mercedes cars, and the other entity was not. Since they're out of business, I feel that I can throw some rotten eggs at them. So the first person that I want to commend is Tabitha Kemp, one of our subscribers, because she is making sure that when she parts out a Mercedes, she takes a car that's already on its way to the crusher, and that it's not a salvageable car that's being broken up for spares. So they're not running a full-scale salvage yard operation. They're basically running an operation where they're looking at cars that have unfortunately made their way into the salvage yard and probably aren't going to come back out. So Tabitha's URL is EuroMercedesGirl.com, and she sold me some good stuff, and I've referred a lot of people to her because I feel that they have a lot of integrity, her and her husband, that they're pretty much saving what they can from cars that probably, you know, I hate to say it, but some cars just were not well maintained enough in the period. Now, you know, then I look at my other example, which is SoCal Mercedes Parts. SoCal, as many of you know, was a very prominent dismantler of Mercedes parts, and I did buy a lot of stuff from them, but then I discovered they were also parting out some cars that maybe sort of kind of could have had a second life. And unfortunately they did go out of business. But you know, I look at what the philosophy behind the work was, and it really was make money. And I think that if you're working with vintage Mercedes in any capacity, whether it's in used parts, new parts, restoration, repair, shame on you if your first objective is to make money and your second objective is to preserve the cars. Your first objective should be to preserve the cars for posterity. Your second objective, if it is an objective for you, should be to make money. Making money has never been an objective for me, and so therefore I've done actually pretty well financially in this business. I'm not loaded, but I do have some things that I like a 280 SL, which many of you know of, and some other Mercedes that I enjoy. But anyway, let's get back to our topic. The idea of when a Mercedes is supposed to be parted out is highly subjective, because some people think that a Mercedes should be parted out when, oh, it needs an engine rebuild but the entire car is solid, or the car's been in a minor fender bender, or the car needs a total interior restoration and it needs a paint job but it runs and drives pretty well. All of these are examples of waste. There are really only three scenarios where a Mercedes should be parted out. The first one is when it is absolutely wrecked and mauled beyond repair, such as a truck runs into the back of a 126 at 45 miles an hour and just smashes the whole rear end, and it invades the roof panel and breaks the glass and distorts the car's crumple zone. You know, the second one is when the car is so rusty that there's really no foreseeable way that it can be taken apart and repaired. And there are some exceptions to this rule. Typically, the more valuable a car is, the less people could care about the accidents or the rust. And then I think the third one where it makes sense is when the car has been in a fire that just cooked the entire car. Pretty much any other scenario should be considered or reconsidered before you break apart a car for spares, because we've gotten a lot of quote-unquote cars in the shop that were probably destined for the wrecking yard, and turn them around into something that was good and useful. I personally am very skittish about parting out Mercedes. Most of the cars that I have that are parts cars have been sitting around here for years, and I sort of take things from them as I need, you know. And yeah, I'm passionate about a lot of other things too that are I think that I think are good causes. Like, I'm passionate about conserving the environment. You know, I do think that we have a responsibility towards our earth and our planet to take care of it. And I'm not just here saying, oh, we should keep all these old cars together, you know, and that's the only thing I care about. This all fits into the idea of conservancy and conserving what we already have rather than pillaging the earth to make new things. Anyway, for more questions and topics about the philosophy of when it's time to save a car and when it isn't, please keep subscribing and send us your comments. I want to see what you have to say. Like, subscribe, share, and think about supporting us on Patreon.